Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a bit of a detour from what I originally planned on uploading. I originally planned on making a video about the Ohio primaries and my predictions about the Republican and Democratic primaries in the state of Ohio. I've since decided I'd rather make a video on Ohio tomorrow talking about the results so I could talk about this bombshell that came out of the Supreme Court last night, which basically is a draft opinion that basically stated that the Supreme Court was looking to overturn Roe v. Wade this summer. Now, this wasn't expected to be released. This wasn't supposed to be public, but it was leaked probably from a liberal staffer or Supreme Court justice or somebody who opposed this decision to get it out to the public, presumably to put pressure on the Supreme Court to change their mind on this decision. Again, this wasn't supposed to come out for 2 months. But this is a political earthquake. This is a huge decision, and of course, if Roe v. Wade is overturned in July, it's going to, upend nearly 50 years of precedent on the abortion issue in the United States. Now, this video is not going to be my political commentary on this or my opinions on this decision, but rather I want to focus solely on the electoral impacts and how this is likely to impact the midterm elections. Now, first off, this isn't just a fake fraudulent story. This was confirmed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court himself, John Roberts, who said that this was a betrayal in the confidence of the court and was intended to undermine the integrity of our operations. He's looking to have a full investigation for what happened here because obviously this is a huge deal. There's massive protests outside the Supreme Court right now on the issue. And again, this wasn't really supposed to be public knowledge. Now, based on the thumbnail of this video, you're probably expecting me to say that this is going to give the Democrats a huge advantage in the midterms, where they're going to expand their margin in the Senate. They're going to sweep all of these swing states. They're going to increase their margins in the House, and that's something I totally don't buy. You'll find a lot of people saying that this is going to be the Democrats' one chance to do well in the midterms, and I'm not denying that this could potentially be a huge benefit to the Democrats. I think it is a benefit to the Democrats because they have something to galvanize their base around. But on my channel, I've never really made rash predictions. I want to see more evidence and polling before I decide to make a dramatic overhaul of my current midterm election predictions. Because again, while this is a huge issue, this did break in May of 2022. The midterms are in November. There's a lot of time until the midterms. I think a lot of things can change here. I think Roe v. Wade could end up being upheld against. This is a draft opinion. A draft, like with a paper, is not the final copy. And it's likely that there's going to be some changes. Now, whether those changes are actually going to affect the outcome is a whole other topic of conversation. But as of right now, this certainly has Democrats, the activist left, etc., super energized to come out and vote in the 2022 midterms. Now, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, I want to turn your attention to this map that was posted by NBC. These are the states that would uphold Roe v. Wade as a precedent if Roe v. Wade is overturned. Basically, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, the issue of abortion would go back to the states. And all the states in blue are the states that would protect abortion rights, and all the states in red are the states that would restrict abortion or outright ban it entirely. Now, the light red states are the states that have pretty stringent restrictions on abortion, but then the dark red ones just completely ban it, probably in all or most circumstances. So, again, it's interesting to see that you have some red states in the blue category. You have Montana, Alaska, and Iowa, which are all, red states politically, have Republicans in all levels of government in the majority, yet they actually, at some point in their past, passed laws to protect abortion on the state level. Now, of course, like I said, this is likely to be a giant issue in the midterms, or at least bigger than it was already going to be. I don't think abortion was going to be really a big issue up until this point. I think it might be in the top 3, but again, I don't see this being the number one issue. I don't think an issue like abortion would be ahead of things like the economy, like inflation, things like that. But it very well could be, and I'm not denying that, but I want to see more polls. Joe Biden has already stated that he wants Congress to try and act to codify Roe v. Wade before it is struck down by the court, effectively making a law protecting it uh, through the federal government. Of course, that's unlikely to happen given the makeup of the Senate. You have two Democrats that tend to vote with Republicans sometimes, so it's very unlikely that Joe Biden is going to have the numbers necessary to actually do something like that in Congress. But ultimately, again, if we take a look at the current Senate map, there's a lot of seats that, in my prior predictions were very, very close. States like Georgia, which already have an incumbent Democrat, Arizona, which have an incumbent Democrat, Nevada. Even a shift 1 or 2 points could alter the outcomes of these races and ultimately give the Democrats the advantage. Again, you're not going to see a large wave on the Democratic side that's going to have Democrats winning these races by like 8 points or something like that. What you would be more likely to see in terms of a quote-unquote blue wave is a much narrower victory, but it would be considered a blue wave nonetheless given the circumstances. Again, Biden being a relatively unpopular president, yada, 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 all the other issues with the economy going on. So, even a shift just a few points to the left could put a lot of these Senate seats in the hands of Democrats that otherwise would have given Republicans the advantage. Again, you just flip a couple of these seats, you keep New Hampshire blue, and let's say all these other ones go red, obviously not safe red, but all these other seats stay red. That puts the Democrats at 51-48. That would give them the majority in the Senate. That's what a quote-unquote blue wave could look like in 2022. I think it's very unlikely, given the midterm environment, given which states rather are actually up for the Senate, that Democrats are going to be winning these states by wide margins. But all they need to do is outperform by a few points to where I expect them to perform, and they take back states like Pennsylvania, and they keep states like Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and they effectively keep control of the Senate. So that's really all it takes. And again, on the House, it's sort of a different deal because a lot of these districts, Republicans have the advantage in redistricting, especially given the New York decision, which basically struck down the Democratic gerrymander in the state of New York. So even in a situation where even Democrats hypothetically won the popular vote in the 2022 midterms, it's likely that Republicans would hold on to control of Congress, given the fact that they have more districts currently, or are on track to have more districts that are either even or slightly in favor of them, or solid, or what have you. So I don't think the House going blue is a real possibility. However, I do think that the Senate possibly could be an area in which Democrats can improve massively. And again, I'm not saying that it's impossible for Democrats to take back the House, but I'm just saying at this current stage where we're at, I'm really at a wait and see basis. And a lot of the predictions I've made on this channel are very conservative, not politically, but in terms of the fact that I'm very cautious in how I predict races, which means I'm usually very confident in my predictions, and I'm very unlikely to move a state or a race in one way or the other without sufficient evidence. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to hold off for a bit on some of these midterm election predictions, just because I want to see where the country is going. I'm probably going to keep predicting races as I currently see them based on the evidence. And again, if Biden's approval goes up, if Democrats start leading in the generic ballot again, it would indicate a shift in the momentum, which would be materialized in my predictions. So all in all, it's a very, very, very incredibly surprising decision. I didn't expect something like this to happen, especially this close to the midterms. This could be a huge gift for Democrats. Democrats should be celebrating this, at least in the strategy department, because this is an issue unlike any other that will get Democrats out to vote. Democrats are very passionate about the issue of abortion. They're very likely to come out in larger numbers than they otherwise previously would have. Now, I will preface this by saying Republicans also feel very strongly about the issue of abortion, just on the other side of the issue most likely, but I don't think that's going to materialize in Republicans turning out in droves to celebrate the decision. I think you're going to see kind of Republican turnout we would expect in a midterm year, but then you could also see higher than expected Democratic turnout because of this decision. You're not going to see presidential year turnout or anything crazy like that, but you're likely to see a more even partisan environment if this really does change the trajectory of the midterms, rather than an R+4, R+5 kind of national environment. So it really all depends on what we end up seeing here from this decision. Again, I'm at a wait and see basis. A lot of the states that are up in the Senate particularly are states that Republicans are trying to take back. Again, you have Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. These are all states that back in 2016, 2 of them went red. Obviously, Nevada went blue, but they're trying to take back these states. So Democrats have the incumbents. They already have a slight edge with incumbents in these races, but coupled with this decision, it could really give them the bump they need to hold on to these seats, even in a tough year for Democrats. And again, Republicans, there's an open seat in Pennsylvania. There's no incumbent there, so that could be a pickup for the Democrats, depending on the circumstances. But again, this is all speculation, and these are not predictions of mine. I'm just putting it out there because I don't really, like I said, I'm very cautious about the way I predict things. I'm not all of a sudden going to start making videos where the Democrats are, winning the Senate by these like wide margins or anything like that. It wouldn't make any sense. So again, it's a wait and see basis, but ultimately a huge decision by the Supreme Court, a huge leak out of the Supreme Court. I do wonder if this, the public pressure campaign will actually influence the Supreme Court's decision on this. A branch that's supposed to interpret the Constitution, or someone that just goes to the mentality of, falls victim to the mentality of either side's political pressure. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video. Please leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any more videos I put out. Leave your thoughts below on what you think about this decision. And as always, again, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.